Hi everyone, Sarah here with another Hardanger embroidery video for you. If you haven't seen our ultimate guide to learning Hardanger embroidery, then you can check that out up here. You'll need to see that one before you see this one, because this one is a continuation of some of the things that we learnt in that one. Okay, so what we're going to learn in this one is we're going to look at these bars here. So in this first video, we looked at these woven bars here. So we put these in back over the threads that we pulled out, and we learned how to weave around it. So I want to show you in this video two alternatives that you can use to put some stitches back in around the bars. Okay, so I've got my bars here. So I've already done this stitching and pulled the threads and done the cluster blocks. So again, all of that process in this exact pattern is in that first video. So do check that out if you want to have a go at this. So I've done that part already. I've cut my stitches away, and these are the threads that I now want to weave around. So instead of going weaving, going in and out of these threads, I'm going to do two stitches, and I'm going to do one in this half and one in this half. So the first one I'm going to do is overcast bars. So I'm doing this on a 20 count linen. It's a bit bigger than you probably normally use, but just so you can see it under the camera a little bit more easily, and I can see it too, see what I'm doing. So it's 20 count, and then I'm going to use, to do my weaving with, I've got a perlé thread number 8. I'm going to do it in several colours, just so you can see the difference between the stitches, but it'd probably be nicer in one colour, but just so you can see clearly the difference between the two stitches I'm going to do. So let's do the overcast bars first. So there is quite a technical way of starting your threads to do these bars, and it is quite confusing, and I think if you're learning you just want to get on with it and have a go. So I'm going to do a slightly simpler version, because you'll all just switch off and go find something else to do instead. So this is an easier way to start them off, and if you're really interested in this we can look at that later. So I've just put my knot, this is the back by the way, so I've just put my knot on the front there, and I've come down here and I've just woven under through of these cluster blocks here just to start my thread off, because I want to come up here and start my stitching here. So that's just a simple way to start your thread off, so you can get going and get on with some stitching. So there you can see my knot on the front. So this is the right side now, and I went under here, under here, under here, under here, out here, and I've come up inside this centre part here. So this is a nice simple one, these overcast bars. We're literally just going to overcast the thread around the bars. So I'm just going to go round 2. I'm not going round all 4. So in that first one, in the first video, we weaved in and out of all 4 bars. So I'm just going to use 2 now, because we're going to do something else with the other 2. So all I'm going to do is come underneath there. I'm going from right to left. So I've started in that corner there. I'm just going to go the same way each time, right to left, round and round that bar now. Now this is all about tension and keeping it the same if you can all the way up, and these will move as well, so you're going to have just to be a little bit careful with it. You can see I've got my finger underneath it. I always find it helps to work Hardanger not in a clamp. Don't have your frame in a clamp. It's good to be able to get your hands underneath and to turn it over, to be a bit more mobile with it. Or you can do it without a frame and just do it in your hand if you like. I definitely find it helps to be able to move the frame. I've got my finger underneath there, just pushing up on that a little bit, and just wrapping that thread round and round those bars. Now I've got quite a long thread here, and I know I'm always going on about you should have a short thread, but I want to go around all 4 in one go with this, because it's a bit harder to start and finish it. It's still not silly length. Now you don't want those to sit on top of each other, you ideally want them all to lie next to each other. So round and round we go, right to the end, so just keep that going. Just concentrate on a nice even tension throughout, and that the bars don't end up on top of each other. If they do, you can just run your finger down it or the needle down it. Just spread them out a little bit, it should be nice and smooth. Put that down. Okay, so I'm going to carry on now around the second set with the same thread. If you find it easier, you can turn your frame round so you're always going the same way. So I'm going back over that, and then I'm going to come underneath, back up in the middle, so I'm going right to left again. Just go the same way if you can. Back round we go. So not a difficult stitch. Again, it's just that tension. Just got to try and get that nice and even if you can. Don't have them sitting on top of each other. Just fiddle with it. You're in control of your stitching. Take charge. Don't let it tell you what to do. You can just fiddle with that till you're happy with it. It's lying in the right place. I'm trying to do that so you can see it, but me doing that means they're just sitting on top of each other a little bit. So just go try it that way instead. Okay. And this is a good one to learn because you can do something quite delicate with this. You see, just by using the 2 threads rather than the 4, you've already got something more detailed. More like lace, and there's other stitches you can do from this as well, so worth learning this one because there's other things you can do with it. So I'm at the end, I'm going to go back over and around these other 2, so we'll go all the way around these and we'll have a look and see what that looks like. So just the last few wraps now, the last one I think. There we go, and then to finish off I'm going to go back underneath to finish that wrap. I'm going to wrap it under here. I'm going to slide it on the back. So I'm going to turn that over. So we come up there, that's finished our wrap, and then I'm just going to slide it under there, go back against that other one. Under there like that. And we can just cut that off on the back. Cut our starting knot off. So nice and simple, overcast bars, really lovely if you want to do some detail. So let's have a look at the other stitch. Okay, so the second stitch that I want to show you is a buttonhole bar. So just a variation really on the overcast one, but it's got slightly prettier edge on it, and this stitch also comes in a lot if you want to cut your hardanger out. So there's a buttonhole stitch that goes around the edge and that secures the threads on the edge, and you can cut shapes out, so we might look at that later if you're interested in that. So a good one to learn again because it does come in other areas of hardanger, so I'll show you how to do it. So I'm just going to go around this way now. I'm right-handed and I like to go left to right for this. If you're left-handed you can go the other way around, it's absolutely fine. So I've just come up in this corner here, I've started my thread, I've woven it under the cluster blocks on the back, and I've come up right in that corner of that square there. So what you're going to do with this is just make a loop. So if you know a buttonhole stitch, it's the same thing, we're just going to do it around the bars instead. So made my loop anti-clockwise, counterclockwise, and I'm going to go under those 2 bars there, and that thread goes around in the loop and the needle comes up inside that loop. So if I just pull that slowly, you can see what that's doing. So there's my loop, threads inside the loop, and that's what makes the decorative edge. I've kind of sort of knotted it around those 2 threads. That one doesn't move so much. It's not like the overcast bars where if you loosen it up it just everything moves. This one will stay nice and firm where you leave it. So you do need them next to each other, don't pile them on top of each other, but you'll find this one much easier. So inside that loop, just pull it up to that next one. Just again watch tension, nice even tension throughout, not tugging on it really tightly, just pull up the tension so they're all the same. And you can see here I'm holding that out of the way with my thumb. That just helps me to make sure I've got my loop in position. So hold it to the left, there's my anti-clockwise loop, underneath the 2 bars, up inside the loop, and just pull up the tension. So this makes a slightly thicker bar than the overcast bars, but again because I'm doing it round just the 2 threads it still looks nice and delicate. You can go round all 4 if you want to. Want something a little bit more striking, you can do all 4. Right up to the end. So now I want to come over to here and start again. So with buttonhole, what I need to do now is just sort of finish that. So that needs to go through to the back. I'm just going to cross it underneath. I'm going to go across the back of here and start again here. So back in my corner again, got my 2 bars. I'm just going to do exactly the same underneath the 2. Make the loop with your thread, come up inside that loop. If you don't come inside the loop, you just get an overcast bar, so it should be obvious quite quickly. If you haven't, pull it up, just tension it, holding it away with my thumb, underneath the bars, inside the loop. So I'm on the last one now. Just come all the way around with one thread. Get a rhythm going, you'll find your tension comes quite easily. It's easier to make a nice neat tension. So one more, up through to the back. Turn that over, and then I'll just thread underneath there. Just to finish that nice and securely, cut off my starting knot, and then we'll have a look at the front. So that's what it looks like on the front. So 2 really pretty stitches. The fundamentals of Hardanger embroidery, so well worth learning because they come into it again and again. So I hope you've enjoyed this. Do give us a thumbs up if you have, because that will enable more people to see it. Don't forget we've got one as well on what to do if you cut your thread, so it's not a disaster if you cut something you shouldn't. Do check that out. We've got loads more videos on the website, lots of different techniques to keep you going and to keep you interested, and I'll see you in the next video.